I think now we should begin. It's 12 o'clock.
Yeah,
Hello and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Hug Partner webinar. First, I would like to thank HawkSoft for providing this platform and connecting us with their amazing user community. In today's session, we'll walk you through a model that shows how agencies can easily outsource their most time consuming tasks to a VA without investing too much of their own time. And at Growth.Insure, we have built a proven model that removes a usual stress, eliminates steep learning curve, and delivers measurable results from day one. Before we begin, it's just a short introduction of our panelist presenting today's webinar. Let me start by introducing the mind that powers our insurance expertise, our founder, Kiran Sathaye, a tech-driven insurance innovator who bridges software and insurance to empower independent agencies. Kiran is an engineer by education and have spent nearly a decade in the software industry before joining the insurance sector back in 1999. His software background, along with the insurance agency domain, is the driving force behind Grow.Insure's success in delivering agent-centric services that we offer exclusively. He's the reason our system thinks like agent, practical, precise, and always looking for smarter ways to get things done. And I'm Devyani Patankar, managing partner at Growth.Insure. I manage operations and delivery center in Pune, India, from where our virtual assistant provides services to all our clients. I have over 25 years of experience in management and IT services. My journey began in data analytics and building business systems in US before moving into insurance space. And I've always been fascinated by how technology and people can work together to create something scalable and reliable. While Kiran brings in domain depth, I bring in data and delivery discipline. And together, we have shaped Growth.Insure around one belief that insurance services should be as smart, seamless, and dependable as the agents that we serve. So, established in 2006, Growth.Insure exists to help agencies thrive where people, process, and technology come together seamlessly. We have been delivering these services over 19 years successfully, and over these years, our team has gathered deep knowledge and experience about the challenges agent faces. And we believe we have developed some best practices that takes away much of the stress agencies often experience while trying to utilize VA services. And with the due modesty, we can say that we are among the pioneers in bringing insurance agency back of services in the virtual space. All right, now that was a bit of us and growth. And now let's hear it from Kiran. He will walk us through the real world challenges what independent agency faces while trying to make the most of VA services. Thank you, and over to you, Kiran.
thanks, Devyani. Thanks for that great intro, and thank you everybody for joining us. We have a very short agenda today where we will try to cover basically first uh, an introduction as to who we are, and then also talk about the challenges that agents face while hiring a VA. Then next, we will walk through, how we help agencies overcome some of these challenges with our express onboarding process. And finally, we will talk about how you can engage with us if you like what you see today and how to get started. So first thing is that we are, of course, a VA service, and we have skilled virtual assistants that we train for almost everything that insurance agencies deal with, pre-sale as well as post-sales. And they are trained obviously for things that insurance agents need for a VA to have, which is comparative raters, agency management systems such as HawkSoft and AMS 360. And then the allied applications like Agency Zoom, DocuSign, PandaDoc, and whatnot. So our team has always, used HawkSoft as the first agency management system that they train under. And so for HawkSoft agencies, it is an added advantage because HawkSoft is in the DNA of our VAs that we offer. So along with all of that training, something unique that we bring is a portal through which we deliver these services to the agencies. It's called www.growth.Insure, and every agency that we sign up with gets free access to this portal. And the beauty of this portal is that, the challenges that agents face when they hire a VA as to, how to coordinate the exchange of tasks with the VAs and within the agency is seamlessly managed using this portal that we have developed. What that does is that it removes the communication challenges, like, somebody doesn't have to, the exchange of work and the completed work and tasks, assignment, etc., does not have to go through an email exchange or a chat exchange, but it is done using our portal, although it is done seamlessly because our portal does integrate with HawkSoft and then the other software that is typically handy in agencies like EasyLinks, Outlook, and others. And we will talk about that a little later in detail. And so as a result, what happens is a lot of learning curve about how to utilize an VA and the challenges that agents face as to how to onboard an VA and how to make sure that you are able to quickly assign tasks to them or quotes to them, and then how the process is going, how much progress has been done. All of that is already available using the portal that we have developed over the years and which we make available to all of the agencies from day one. Now, let's talk about the challenges that the agents are facing when they try to hire a VA service. So what we are hearing from agents and what we see advertised also is that typical VA services, it's almost like, if you are trying to hire a VA, you are trying to hire an employee, which means that you have to go through all the rigorous processes of, maybe recruitment, which means you have to scan through resumes and then you have to interview candidates. And once all of that is done, then maybe a VA which has been trained for a short few weeks or a month is given to you for at your disposal, and then you bring them on board and then train them in your processes to make sure that they are able to deliver the services that you want them to deliver. Now, if you're going through all of this stress and all of this work to hire a VA, then the question arises as to why not hire somebody locally? Because the process seems to be the same, the only difference being that most likely the VA is going to be a remote employee, although these days even locally you might have agencies who offer a remote work for employees. And I think the answer that agents find to that question is the fact that, first of all, you may not find somebody locally at the cost that you can get a VA for to do the task that the VAs are supposed to be doing for you. And secondly, let's say if you did find somebody, then what happens when that person has spent some time in your agency? Is that person going to be happy to continue to do the work that a VA is supposed to do for a long time? And the probable answer to that question is maybe not. And so then if that person decides to leave you or do something else, then you are back to square one, and then you have to go through all of this process once again. And that's where we come in. The To answer that question, basically, what it would be like if there was a service where you did not have to take all of the stress that you have to take into hiring an employee that you hire locally, but leave that stress to the VA agency, and then you just enjoy the results of that labor of hiring that the VA agency has already gone through. Is that possible? And if it is possible, then how can we get it done? And that's what we are going to talk about in the way that we deliver these services, where the agents don't have to go through this recurring process of hiring, training, and retaining these employees or VAs that they hire. We take that stress away from you, and then all you do is just utilize us or our services like a plug and play service, where once you have hired us, then you never have to go through that repeated process again. And the next slide, we will start talking about that. The other thing that happens when you have a VA service, and go through the traditional process of hiring, etc., uh, sometimes that VA leaves, and many a times what happens is you're not happy with the way the results are delivered, but you find that out after having spent a lot of time with the VA service, and by that time you have spent a lot of time as well as money in utilizing those services, which leaves a bitter taste in everybody's mouth. And so that's the other problem that we try to solve, because our onboarding process is quick. And if you like what we do, then you will know it within 2 or 3 weeks of hiring us. But at the same time, within those 2 or 3 weeks that you have tried us, you haven't really not spent a lot of time within those 2 weeks on your own, because most of the time is spent on our end, because we onboard the agents during our trial process, so that we learn about you more than you learning about us and training us to do what we need to do. So having said that, let me go to the next slide. And so how do we come up, and address some of these challenges that we discussed on that prior slide? So we do that by understanding that the common time-consuming tasks faced by most agencies, and then delivering those tasks to agents with the help of a well-defined process, so that agents free up some of their time immediately with minimal time commitments. And lastly, after the agents have got some breathing room, we can take up some additional tasks which may be unique to the agency, when the agent is able to spend the time with the VA to help them learn these unique tasks, which may not be a common task across all agencies. So that's how we are able to provide you these services by eliminating some of the stress that is involved. So now, to talk about the common tasks that we are able to provide you from day one without any time investment on your end is, something that we show on this slide. The tasks that are shown on the left-hand side under the first type of tasks are the back office services we provide, which have flexible execution window. So it's not like an urgent thing or anything. So typically the main task that we do from day one without much investment on your end, mainly time investment, is the personal lines renewal remarkets, and then checking billings for the customers, and then payment follow-ups, carrier notification tracking, then the download management in your agency management systems, and then policy document or coverage audits that we can do without spending any time on your end, really, from day one. Once that has been completed, Then the second, level of tasks which need a little bit more of interaction with the agencies can be taken up, because the assumption is that after we have done the tasks listed under 01, the agency has already created some free time for themselves, and they have some breathing room where now they will be able to spend a little bit more time with the VA to go over some of these unique tasks. So what that does is that it takes away the stress from the agents that they are put under if they went a direct VA route where they are hiring a VA, they are training it themselves. Because what ends up happening is that the first reason why they went to the VA is because they did not have enough time to complete the task. But then adding a VA is adding more time requirements on the agency, which makes it difficult to work with the VAs, and ultimately, after some time, there is frustration or whatnot, and then it may not work, and a lot of time has already gone by, and money probably has been spent. So that's the reason we approach the VA services in this fashion, where we take the most common tasks right away from you without any time commitment from on your side, and then we start delivering so that it frees time for the agencies and their staff almost immediately once we have engaged with the agency. So the way we do that, and before I go there, I need to make sure that I talk about this. With all that said, we do not provide any kind of phone handling services to any of the agencies that we serve, because we look at ourselves as a back office, and we are not talking to the customers over the phone for any of our agencies, and we don't plan to do that in the near future. There are several reasons why we do that, or why we don't do that, and we can discuss that one-on-one if at all, if you have any questions regarding that. So now we looked at the normal practice of selection and onboarding and then training and then making sure that they are productive and all that. And so our practice, the way we overcome those challenges is, first of all, let's say you decide that you want to do the trial with us and see how we are able to deliver the results that we promise. Then first thing, obviously, we do is we sign an NDA to make sure that there is mutual trust and the data protection is there. So because we will be sharing a lot of information with each other during this process. And once that is done, then we go to the next step, which is onboarding an agent. So you notice the difference here. We are the ones who are onboarding an agent instead of the agencies onboarding a VA. And we will discuss that onboarding process in a little bit. Once that onboarding has been completed, then we assign a single point of contact on our end to deal with the agent's team, and discuss the scope of the free trial and agree on what we are going to deliver. And then within the first 2 weeks after that has been done, we deliver what we say we are going to deliver to the agencies, and so that you get to see what we are capable of during that process. Now, at this point, after completing that free trial, there is a point which is a decision-making point, whether you like what we did and whether you want to go forward or not. If you do like what we did, then you go and, the next step would be hiring and all that. But if you did not like what we offered and the way we delivered our services, which is very rare, we haven't really come across that challenge so far, but if it happens, then it's zero risk to the agency. You have not spent almost any time on any of this. The only time that you might be spending, which we'll discuss, is the onboarding, which probably is going to be a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours of your time in one day. And then most of the work or heavy lifting is done on our end for you to see the results of that free trial. And then, of course, during the free trial, we have not charged you anything. There is no money, although we are going to deliver real-time quotes to you during this period. And if you see what you like, you can continue. But as I said, if you don't, then no questions asked, and then we part ways. So that's the beauty of this model, and hopefully you all will be able to appreciate it, because I know that there are other models, and this is where we have tried to answer some of those challenges, as I said before. So now, once we have signed the NDA and all that, then the agency completes an agency onboarding form. What's there in that agency onboarding form? So what we are asking for is the details about the agency, of course, and then the services that you provide, what kind of products that you offer. And then mainly, before I discuss the onboarding process, let me also explain that the main service that we offer during the free trial period is the personal lines remarkets. That's what we think is a proof of the fact that we are able to deliver what we say we are able to. Not only it showcases our knowledge about the insurance agency environment, but also the fact that we are able to deliver that without any kind of training on your side should give a lot of comfort to the agents and their staff that we know what we are doing. And that's why that is the service that we have chosen to provide you during the free trial, where we will give you about 10 quotes of personal lines remarkets that you will assign to us once the free trial starts. So going back to the onboarding of the agent, we will ask you about the code profile. So what that involves is that, what kind of coverages do you typically want to offer all of your clients, whether you want to offer, any specific endorsements which are critical in the areas that you operate, and whether there are certain nuances about the carriers that you, work with that we have to be aware about. And then, of course, the details about those carriers, the credentials that we need to log into those carriers, and also the other credentials like logging into, your comparative rater or your agency management system, depending on how you are going to assign those initial 10 quotes to us for during the free trial. Once that form is completed, our team member, who is going to be the single point of contact for your agency, will review that form and make sure that all of the information is verified. We verify that we are able to log into all of the carriers and the systems that you need us to have access to, so that we can deliver those quotes to you. And once that has been done, then basically, we do have a meeting with the agent once to make sure that we set the right expectations during the trial, and then decide as to how we are going to receive the information from you and deliver the quotes to you. And so, as I said, once that form has been completed and verified, then you guys can start sending us those quotes for the trial via email or via our platform, or via simply a button on your HawkSoft screen, which integrates with our portal. So now that we have gone through that process of setting up the trial period and we have given you access, what ends up happening is that once our team starts preparing the quotes, they will deliver the quotes to you in something called a premium sheet. That also something I would say is unique to our service, which we provide to all of our agents. And the beauty of this premium sheet is that it does provide a detailed view of that code that we completed, so that you are able to look at that one premium sheet and this, look at what were the renewal carriers coverages and then the premiums, and then you can compare with the quotes that we have completed for you, and also get access to the underwriting information that is shared on that premium sheet, so that you don't have to search around different places and look at email and all that to figure out, our what we have come up with as a possible answer for this remarket. And the other thing which happens, because it is being delivered either on our website or our portal where anybody in your office can see this. So what can happen is that one person may be assigning that code, but that person may be unavailable for a couple of days, but the code is pending to be given. And so the other agent does not have to go through email or anything. They will be able to access that code and then take it forward, because almost all of the information that is needed by that any agent who looks at that code is right there available on that premium sheet. The second thing that we do also, because our portal integrates with HawkSoft, we are able to actually deliver those quote results to you in HawkSoft by sending you the details like this premium sheet and then clue reports, MVR reports, if you want us to order those, and then replacement cost calculators for home insurance policies. And all of that is delivered to you in HawkSoft with a log note and a task created for somebody that you want us to create that task for, so that really if you are engaging us, you never have to even leave HawkSoft to get this service delivered to you seamlessly. Now, I'll just briefly go over this premium sheet once more, because it will give you some idea as to how it looks. So this is the premium sheet. It has 3 sections. The top section is where we will share all of the underwriting information that is we have gathered while we completed this requote. And then the current carriers and what was the expiry date and what were the current premiums, dwelling coverage amount, what were the deductibles currently, and what did we quote the policies with. It will have the basic underwriting information, like what was the roof year, how did we get that roof year, was it assumed or because of a claim, or did the agent provide that information to us, what's the square footage of the home, etc., etc. Secondly, then we will have all these quotes where, okay, if there were any package quotes, then they will be listed here along with the premiums that we have got, and it will also show you the total premiums, etc., etc. And which ones are the quotes that we verified, which will be highlighted in green color, so that you know that we have actually verified those quotes, and those quote proposals will be attached to HawkSoft. So that you will be able to directly see those without having to visit the carrier if you choose to do that. And lastly, if there were any monoline quotes to be done for home as well as auto, then we will verify that too, because sometimes we know that the packages may not work, and then you may have to just do a monoline home quote and a monoline auto quote and package it together to offer it to the customer. So we will also offer that view to you. We will share if there were any clue reports ordered, and then if we had find any details there, then we will share that information in the premium sheet as well, which will help you understand why the premiums have changed when they were verified. So for example, this quote, originally this gray colored premium shows, that in that row the premium shows 1396, but then when we verified it, which is shown in green color, the premium has gone up to 2515. And you may ask why that happened. As you know, it always happens that things change after the comparative rate results are seen, and an experienced agent on your side would be able to see the things that we have shared at the bottom, like the auto loss history, and understand the reasoning behind why this change happened. So that's basically the idea about providing these results in this kind of a premium sheet. And we will always offer that to all of our customers. One last thing about our trial, it is about personal lines remarkets, as I said. And with HawkSoft users, there is an advantage with HawkSoft users because of the API integration that our portal has with HawkSoft. We have in fact automated that process. We did have a webinar about that about 6 months back, where we have gone into detail about that automation, how we can, automate your renewal remarketing process easily. And, as a follow-up to today's webinar, we will be sharing a link to that recording as well. If you guys want to learn more in detail about that automation that we have for renewal remarket processing for personal lines for all of the agencies who are HawkSoft agencies. So now that's where we are. We during this 2-week period, we would have hopefully provided you with the results for 10 remarkets that we have done for you. And then I would say that this trial period it works like a fine tuning of our working relationship. First couple of quotes, we would want you to review and give us some feedback as to, okay, there were some things that we would do differently in your agency, et cetera, et cetera. And then hopefully you will see that improve within the rest of the period. And by the end of the period, you would know that we are able to deliver the quotes to you in the fashion that you want to see those quotes. And so now that that had happened, if you want to go forward, of course, then all we do is that you have to sign a contract with us. And the contract is basically just to protect each other and make sure that, we talk about things like, okay, now who owns the data and all those things. And then we also discuss, what times of the day are we going to provide the services. That is there in the contract. Now, we only charge you after the fact. So we provide the work first, and then at the end of the month, once the work has been completed, is when we would be sending you an invoice. So this service is post-paid, which is basically saying that the work is delivered first, and then the agents are invoiced later, which they will pay in the following month. We do have a 2-month termination notice, but that's all there is. And the reason we do that is because we have spent a lot of time making sure that the resource that is dedicated to you is, trained to do the work that they are able to deliver for you. And we want to make sure that if somehow you do not want to continue that service, then we are able to find another agent for that resource, so that we do not have to keep that person on the bench. We face the same issues as agents when we are hiring people, although as you can see, all of that cost of hiring and retaining and training is on our end in the way we deliver these services. Because for you, it is really just engaging with us and then making sure that, we are able to start the service. Now, what that means is that sometimes we may not be able to make a resource available to you immediately, which is quite possible. And but at the same time, it means that you may have to wait for us to be able to make that resource available, because we want to make sure that they are trained very well. They have shadowed somebody in our offices first before they start doing the work for an actual agency. And so I think it is fair that we ask for you to at least give us 2 months notice in order to move that resource to somebody else. There is no annual contract or anything, and we will provide a full-time or a part-time resource to an agency. Part-time would be basically 4 hours a day typically, and then full time would be 8 hours a day typically. Devyani, did you want to say something? Okay. All right. And then you always also, of course, get the free use of our agency portal. uh, throughout the engagement and that we have. Now, after the free trial, if you are not going to go forward, and if it is a no-go, then all that happens is that, all the agency data that we have received will be deleted from our server. All the credentials and agents accounts from Growth.Insure are deleted, and there is no contract to sign, and there is no payment to be made, because that was a free trial and we delivered those codes to you without any charges. But we would appreciate some kind of a constructive feedback, so that if we learn from it also, that okay, what was it that you did not like about services that you decided not to go forward. That's all we would ask from you if you went through a free trial with us for those 2 weeks. So in summary, this is the process for engaging with us. Basically, our detailed onboarding process, which comes with a free trial. And then we focus on common time-consuming tasks first, and then once we free up the time for your agency, then we can take up some additional tasks. But initial tasks that we do, which are mostly common across all agencies, are not going to be required for any kind of training on your part. So it starts from day one. And then our delivery is process is IT enabled with our portal, and it has the structured output, which is enhanced, especially for HawkSoft users because of the integration that we have with HawkSoft. So what's next? As I said, just to recap, the services that we would start offering from day one without any time spent on your end to train anybody is going to be these personal lines renewal remarkets, or checking the billings of payments on the policies and then following ups via email or whatever. Then carrier notification tracking, and then agency download processing, and then policy document and coverage audits. Now, one more thing I want to make sure I talk about is that, because of the experience that we have with HawkSoft, because I believe one of our oldest employees that is still with us since 2006 is actually trained by HawkSoft University. His name is Sagar. And because of that deep expertise with HawkSoft, most of the times, if you are struggling with any issues related to the HawkSoft usage or challenges that you might be facing, I feel very confident that within our team, we may be able to come up with some kind of solution for you, or answers for you as far as HawkSoft is concerned. All right. So that's the first service that we do without any training at all on your end. Then the second type of services, which require maybe some kind of interaction with the agency staff, is something that we can take on once there is some kind of rapport developed between the VA and your agency staff. And so those are the tasks we can take up, like personal lines, new business quoting, and midterm remarkets or changes to personal lines policies, certificates of insurance, generating applications, and sending e-signature envelopes to customers, and then commercial quotes. As I said, again, we don't do any phone handling. So now for those two services, it's important to remember that we do charge different amounts for each of these services. And the reason being that these have some flexible window for completing those tasks, whereas these are more critical and more time consuming. So if at all you want to use us for any of these, then the charges are going to be a little higher than the ones that we charge for the first type of service, and we will see those in the next slide. So the first type of task, what we offer is basically $12.50 hourly. And as I said, it will be minimum 80 hours of work commitment from you for the month. And we can go up to 160 per person, but that's one minimum 80 hours of commitment is required because we cannot go below that if we are assigning a resource to you, which is what we are doing. And then for the more time critical services, we charge $14.50 hourly, and again, minimum 80 hours of service there. But then those tasks can be performed for the agents if they are wanting us to do those things. And we charge a $250 one-time setup to do, the setup in our agency, which is, of course, we actually do all that during the free trial process itself, but we do not charge you if you decide not to go forward after the free trial. So this charge would be paid only if you decide to go forward with our services, and it will be something that we will bill you on the first invoice that we would send you after the first month of services have been completed for your agency. So that is, those are our charges. And, these are the things that we have possess knowledge about, and it's basically almost everything that most insurance agencies need. And of course, we provide a lot of knowledge about HawkSoft because of our deep experience with HawkSoft for more than 15 years. And the people who power all of this, of course, are very important. And you can see that I discussed Sagar. He's the one who is certified by HawkSoft when they used to have HawkSoft University. And he has been with us since 2006. And then there are some other leaders that have developed over the years and who have also been with us for quite some time. Obviously, we treat them very well, and which is why they are still with us, and we hope that they will continue with us for a long time so that they can deliver the services to all of the agents that we are engaging with in the future. I believe I have come to the last slide of the presentation. If you do want to go and engage with us and maybe try us, give us a chance to provide you with that free trial, you can do that by going to our website, Growth.Insure, and then sending us a request over there, or you can scan this and then set up a call with us so that we can discuss if there is a fit, and if you want to try us out, then we can set up the free trial again for you. And that way you get the chance to see a different type of a VA without having to worry about, or without having to put the same amount of stress that one puts when they are hiring an employee, when they are hiring a VA. I believe I have come to the conclusion of this webinar. If there are any questions, we will hang around for a minute. Devyani, please let me know if there are any questions that have come up, and then we can try and answer them.
Yeah, there are coming up, and we have been answering them as and when it's coming, but we can read out so that
Okay.
everyone is aware of that.
Yeah.
So Hannah is asking, is the training state specific? I'm in Florida.
Well, yeah, we have experienced agents in Florida, and we do serve agents in Florida, so we know the challenges that Florida agents have, and all of the different carriers and citizens and all of those things, and the 4-point checks and whatnot that you have to go through. So yes, the training, whoever is the resource who is assigned to your agency would be able to handle the state that you are located in. Any other question, Devyani?
Yeah, and Bill was asking if we pay for service in second category, then I assume we can also include service from first category as needed, to which I have said yes. You
Yes,
can
yes.
explain more.
Yeah. So the service, you know, the second category services are just basically more time critical. But of course, anything that we offer, if any agent engages us to deliver those services in category two, the services in category one come along with that. So it's not exclusive. Services in category two also include the services in category one for an agency.
And the most important question that Scott is asking, that are the VA licensed?
Okay. So no, VAs are not licensed, and and that is one of the reasons why we do not handle any phone calls, because unfortunately, whether you want or not, the questions that should be only answered by licensed VAs do come up on those phone calls. And so that's why we do not engage with the customers in any kind of an activity where we are advising customers for coverages and all that. We look at ourselves as a back office service, which is like a plug and play service that you are able to use in your agency. And hopefully, what that does for you is that since these repeating tasks are taken away from your agency, you are able to focus time and hire people locally, which you need anyways to serve all those clients. But maybe you will have some breathing room to do what you need to do, to maybe hire them and train them, because there is no alternate to having a licensed VA talking to the agents. But we do not aim to fill that void. All we are trying to do is to take away the things that those licensed agents don't really need to be spending their time on, and only doing things that are more productive for the agency, and which will of course also enable them to be uh, compensated highly, just because they are probably able to deliver better results without having to spend their time on things that can be done by lower paid employees.
And how do you assure data security?
So we have the basically our
You,
portal is a secure portal, and the services, I mean, our next slide, I believe we do talk
yes.
about that. So, we have firewall and router and all the commercially available security that is available is there. Our servers are all located in the US for the services that we provide. And all this is all technical things that we can share with you in detail if you want, but this is what is commercially available and industry standard practices to secure anybody's data, which is what we also incorporate in our services that we offer to our agents. So it includes, the VPN services and, the enterprise level firewall, and reporting and monitoring on a everyday basis, and then making sure that our VAs do not have any access to any outside data modules while they are working within our offices. Of course, we have a central office where all VAs come and work. It's not like they are working out of their home. And so the security checkpoints which are done at our offices are at the entry level itself. And then the agents are required to keep all of their personal belongings separately before they enter the area. And then after they leave the area, they can get access to those things later on. So that's what we do. It's a central location in Pune, India, which is where it is located. And it's a huge office that we have, which is how we are able to make sure that any physical as well as digital data security is maintained while we deliver these services.
Okay, then Joe is asking, do you have any plans to provide VA services for light, small commercial lines?
As I said, those are the things that we can engage in, but because our model is based on the fact that first we want to take away the most common tasks that most agents face, we try to focus on the personal lines remarkets. Although I can tell you that we do provide services in the commercial area and commercial quoting for light commercial, as you say. But I feel that that's something that we typically try to engage with agents only when we have developed some kind of a rapport by providing the common services first so that you know how we work. And then I hope that when we do that, we free up some time on your end so that you can then spend some time that we will need for things that you want us to do, because commercial quoting is not standard across agencies, and then the businesses that agents cater to are also not the same, and so it is not replicable as much as the personal lines is. In personal lines, typically the only differences that you typically see are the related to the state specific differences and carrier specific differences, but mostly the coverages and things that you have to worry about are same. But that's not the case with commercial lines, and that's why, it's not something that we can provide someone to you which will do from day one. But if the agent has got some time, which we try to create with by providing the first type of service, then we can certainly take up those tasks for you, and we can discuss that upfront before you sign up for other services to see whether whatever you want us to do is doable or not over the long term.
Maybe Joe can set up a call with us and we can show you what we have been doing in commercial lines. And if that suits you, then we can take it up from there. And then Scott Smith is asking, slide shows minimum 80-hour service. And how is this used? 20 hours per week or 40 hours per week?
Yeah, no. So it is 20 hours per week. Basically, it's 4 hours a day dedicated every day, and we are assuming that it's 4 weeks, then
Right.
80 hours. That's an average. We actually charge based on the actual hour worked that we do. Now, that also allows me to clear one more point that there are different holidays being taken in US and India and all that. And so I want to make it clear that we do not charge for any holidays that we do not work for you. So whether it is a US holiday or an Indian holiday, we are not charging for those hours. So if we are off that day, you will not see those charges. But if it was a regular working day, then we are going to charge you for minimum 4 hours on that day, whether or not there was enough work for that person to complete for 4 hours. So that's something that the agent has to make sure that they would be able to engage us at least for that much time when they engage with us. Any other questions, Devyani?
Uh, I don't see. Can hire your services part-time to start with, and how many remarket quotes you can deliver in a day?
So that also is
Right?
again something that is not one size that fits all type of a thing, because it all depends on how much uh, is going into the codes that we are preparing for you. For example, a dwelling fire code where there is
Mhm.
maybe not something which has a comparative rater available or whatnot, and then if you have quite a few carriers that you want us to quote for that code, it may take a long time. But I can assure you one thing, if you know how much time it takes for the type of code that you want to, your staff members do in your office, uh, our team members will be taking similar amount of time in most cases. The only additional time that may be involved is to make sure 5 to 10 minutes extra compared to that, because we would be delivering those results to you using that premium sheet, which adds some time to it, but also it saves some time for the agents, we hope, because they do not have to scramble to see all of the information that they need to make a decision as to which of the options that we presented need to be sent to the customer. So in our onboarding or our discussion, if we have set up a call to go with a free trial, you would be able to, at the end of that free trial, we should be able to tell you, looking at the quotes that we got to do for you as to how much time it's going to take to finish those quotes, with the type of things that we are delivering and how many carriers we are going to have to visit, etc., etc. I think we are at the end of the hour, almost 5 more minutes remaining. Devyani, are we good? If there are not any questions
Yeah,
anymore?
almost all the questions have been answered, and I think while presentation was on, we asked if there is a missing information that is needed for a quote or an endorsement, do you have to set a task for a sales team to secure that information? To which we have said, yes, you can create a task for
Yeah,
the missing information.
yeah. And, hopefully there will be other ways to communicate also with our agents, and that can change within some agencies. There are different tech stacks that all the agents are working with, and in some cases, we may engage in a different way aside from the portal as well, if it is more convenient for the agents to do that. All right, I think that's it for now. I would say I will stop the presentation, and thank you again, everybody, for joining us, and thanks HawkSoft once more for allowing us to engage with your users, and hopefully we are able to solve some of the problems that they may be facing in their everyday agency work. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining.